Alright, so you guys know what time it is. It's time to do another saga of Eiichiro Oda's classic, One Piece. Now this time around we're going to do the third saga, which is called Sky Island or Skypiea, and it consists of volumes 24 through 32, so 9 volumes, 85 chapters in total, and 52 episodes for the anime. For the manga itself, it ran from 2002 to 2003, and for the anime, it ran from 2003 to 2004. This saga is going to follow the Straw Hats with their new member, Nico Robin, as they journey from Jaya to Skypiea and learn about a new mysterious land and get embroiled in an intense war. This is an exciting saga that I can't wait to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. In a flashback, Nico states she never planned to give the weapon to Crocodile from the beginning. Nico wanted to learn the true history, and since she couldn't do so, she wanted to die. Luffy, however, saved her life. After a brief interview process, Nico is allowed to join the crew. A large ship then falls from the sky. The log post points upwards, as Nico realizes that it's pointing to a sky island. Nico determines that the ship set sail 208 years ago. Luffy then finds a map for Skypiea. They decide to salvage the ship's rudder, so they henceforth lower themselves into the water. Masira, known as Salvaging King, looks to salvage the ship for himself. Meanwhile, Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro are busy salvaging the ship. Masira starts blowing air to get the ship to float in the water. Masira then jumps in and uses Monkey Punch against a snake. Masira then bursts in as Luffy calls him a monkey. Just then, an enormous sea turtle eats the entire ship. The turtle surfaces as the sky turns into night, which indicates it's a sign for monsters. Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro exit the turtle as Masira gets angry that they stole his treasure. All of a sudden, a gigantic shadow monster appears. After escaping, the Straw Hats kick Masira off their boat. It turns out that Nico stole an eternal pose from Masira's ship, and now it's pointing to Jaya Island. As they travel, a few birds fall from the sky. Jaya is a gathering place for chaotic people, where there is no law. We are then introduced to Roshio the Executioner. Bellamy accuses him of cheating, as he cracks a bottle over his head. Luffy promises Nami that they won't fight anyone in the city. Luffy then eats some apples from a strange doctor, who says that if he chose the wrong one, he'd be dead right now. Turns out he is very lucky. Bellamy's first mate, Big Knife Sarquis, then tells the owner to throw the Straw Hats out. After they leave, Sarquis sees that Luffy has a bounty of 30 million belly on his head. It's gonna take 4 days for the log post to record, so Nami wants to leave in 2 days. Luffy gets into a verbal dispute with another customer, as Bellamy walks in looking for the Straw Hat Pirate. Bellamy acts kind to Luffy at first, but eventually smashes his head into the counter. Zoro steps in as Luffy acknowledges that Bellamy is looking for a fight. Unfortunately, because of their vow to Nami, they can't fight back. Nami asks about the Sky Island as everyone laughs at her. Bellamy talks about how people's dreams are stupid as he whacks Luffy once more. Nami then urges Zoro and Luffy to fight back. Bellamy's crew continues embarrassing them. Outside the bar, the man from earlier, who was eating next to Luffy, says that Sky Island does exist. A man's dream will never die. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew is fixing up the ship. The three then hear someone singing Salvage over and over again. Nico shows them an X mark that may lead them to someone who could help them. They then encounter the captain of the Shoujo pirate crew. If the Straw Hats wish to pass, they'll have to pay a toll. Shoujo is Masira's brother, and he uses Havoc Sonar to attack Luffy's ship. In Mocktown, Bellamy hears about the gold and becomes interested. The Straw Hats reach their destination, as they're looking for Cricket. Sanji then reveals he was born in the North Blue. Sanji tells a story of a man named Norland that found an island full of gold. Unfortunately, when the king arrived with his soldiers, there was no gold to be found. Cricket is a descendant of Norland. Luffy falls into the water as Cricket confronts the Straw Hats, thinking they're after his gold. Cricket fights with Sanji, but eventually collapses for unknown reasons. Chopper explains that he experienced dysparism, which divers typically experience. Masira and Shoujo check up on Cricket, whom they call Boss. Cricket wakes up as Luffy asks him how to get to Sky Island. Cricket says that Norland claimed that the Golden City had fallen under sea from earthquakes. As it turns out, Cricket searched for the gold relentlessly, and eventually split off from his crew. Masira and Shoujo believed the story about the gold and became his followers. Norland's book speaks of Sky Island, exciting Luffy and Usopp. The Saruyama Alliance decides to help the Straw Hats in achieving their goal. Cricket then talks about a cloud that blocks out the sun, and it won't produce any precipitation. If the island does exist, it is inside the cloud. He then tells them about the current that shoots upwards. However, knock upstream involves a huge risk. While they take it easy, Nico reads Norland's diary, finding out that the gold exists in the skull's right eye. However, she doesn't know what this means. Meanwhile, Bellamy's ship approaches Cricket's house. Cricket says they need to sail south to reach knock upstream, and to do so, they'll need to catch a special bird. The Straw Hats henceforth look for a south bird. Usopp then finds a poisonous spider that amuses him, but freaks out Sanji and Nami. Zoro tells Nico that he still doesn't trust her. The south bird drops a bee's nest on Luffy and Chopper. Chopper tells Luffy that the bird intends to kill them. The Bellamy pirates then confront the Saruyama Alliance. The bird commands the insects of the forest to attack Luffy and Chopper. In fact, all the South Birds are making life hell for the Straw Hats. Meanwhile, Bellamy's crew bloodies up Cricket's crew. Bellamy reveals his devil fruit power by turning his legs into springs and launching himself forward. Bellamy's crew looks to leave, but Cricket stands up, still believing in the power of dreams. In the forest, Nico uses her devil fruit ability to knock the South Bird down. The Straw Hats return to Cricket, finding out that the gold was taken and that the Going Merry was ruined in the process. Luffy aims to exact revenge on Bellamy and says he'll be back before dawn. A local drunkard then finds a wanted poster, seeing that Luffy has a bounty of 100 billion belly. Bellamy is told about the bounty on Zoro and Luffy's heads, but he thinks they're all faked. Bellamy then walks outside as someone is calling him, and it turns out to be Luffy on a building. Luffy demands they returns the gold, but Bellamy isn't having any of it. He springs himself onto the building as Luffy tells him that he'll take the gold back himself. Bellamy then looks for the finishing blow by using Spring Jumper. Farewell, Straw Hat Kiddo! But in an instant, Bellamy's defeated by one punch. Sarquist sees the real wanted poster for Luffy with 100 million belly bounty. The gold! Give it back! Luffy retrieves the stolen gold and tells the Bellamy pirates that he's going to the sky. The previous day, Ace introduces himself to Buggy. Ace is the commander of the Whitebeard's 2nd Division, and Whitebeard is the only pirate to fight Pirate King Roger to a standstill. Buggy even ran into Whitebeard in the Grand Line. We then see the Holy Land of Marijois, where the world's government supreme authority, known as the Five Elder Stars, is convening. Don Quixote, Doflamingo, and Bartholomew Kuma arrive at the meeting. The meeting is called by Fleet Admiral Sengoku to discuss Crocodile's replacement for the Shichibukai. Mihawk decides to attend the meeting as well. A mysterious man then reveals himself, looking to nominate someone for the position of Shichibukai. Somewhere on the Grand Line, we catch a glimpse of the strongest man in the world, the great pirate Whitebeard. Meanwhile, Shanks prepares to meet with Whitebeard himself. Lafitte then proposes that Teach should be considered to the Shichibukai. In Mocktown, we see Teach, who is known as Blackbeard, and the rest of his crew. Luffy returns to the Straw Hats as he marvels at the improvements made to the Going Merry. Luffy then says farewell to Cricket before he departs. After sailing for several hours, the crew spots the Millennium Cumulonimbus. Masira and Shoujo direct the Straw Hats towards the gigantic whirlpool, and tell them to follow the current to the center without resisting. Luffy looks unconcerned as they're swallowed in, as everyone else panics. Once they reach the center, however, the whirlpool disappears. The Blackbeard pirates look to catch them, since Luffy and Zoro have high bounties on their heads. Unfortunately for the Blackbeard pirates, knock upstream destroys their ship as it propels the Going Merry into the sky. Despite some scary moments, Nami helps navigate them upwards towards their destination. Luffy finds it hard to breathe at first, as it looks like they've reached the sky. Blackbeard tells his crew that they will meet the Straw Hats again as long as they stay on the Grand Line. The Straw Hats adjust to their new environment as they take a gander at the scenery. Chopper then spots a pirate ship that is destroyed by an unknown assailant. The assailant then makes his way to the Going Merry. They can't stop him, but luckily, they are saved by the Knight of the Sky. The Knight informs them that they are in the place called the White Sea, which is 7,000 meters above the Blue Sea. The Knight hands them a whistle and instructs them to blow it whenever they need help. The first whistle is free, but it will cost them 5 million Extal for each whistle after that. The Knight bids them farewell as he flies away on his Pegasus. The crew then sails to a place called Heaven's Gate, which leads them to the White Sea. If they want to go up, it will cost 1 billion Extal each. All of a sudden, Speedy Shrimp start taking the Going Merry to the island, as the guard reports to her superior to bestow upon them Heaven's judgment. The Straw Hats see the entrance for Godland Skypiea. It's the Sky Island! The Straw Hats disembark as they explore the island's flora and fauna. An angel informs them that this is Angel's Beach, and shows Luffy how to enjoy the fruit here. A man named Pagaya then comes in, and is revealed to be Konis's father. Luffy struggles to control the waver when he rides it, but Nami rides it with relative ease. Pagaya then explains to Zoro that there are two types of clouds. Sea clouds that you can sail ships on, and fluffy types that you can walk on, which are called island clouds. Konis then explains dials to the crew, which are shells that record sound and replay it later. There are even wind dials that power the waver that Nami is riding on. Nami then reaches the Holy Land where God lives, a place where no one should enter. Nami looks to turn back, but is approached by an unknown man. The masked man shoots a bazooka into the forest, where 4 other men are. One of the men is then struck by a lightning bolt that the masked man recognizes as Enel's. Nami then eavesdrops on a conversation in which 4 men talk about the 7 trespassers from the Blue Sea, which is referring to the Straw Hats. Just then, the Skypiea police force arrives on Angel's Beach, looking for the illegal trespassers. The White Berets instruct the Straw Hats to pay a fee for trespassing. Nami returns stating that the fee is too damn expensive. The White Berets get violent as Luffy looks to fight back. After taking down the White Berets, the leader states that the priest of the upper yard will judge them. To get back to the Blue Sea, they must head to a place called Cloud End. Nami, Nico, and Chopper look to escape, but a super speedy shrimp catches them and takes them to the upper yard. Pagaya states that they will be sacrifices for God. He shows Luffy, Usopp, and Sanji the way and warns them about the strong priest and god Enel. The 3 proceed to walk through the streets of Angel Island as the citizens avoid them, since they are all criminals. A sobbing Konis then reveals that she was the one that called the Super Express speed shrimp. If they don't report a criminal, they'll be taken to the judgment ground and killed. A lightning bolt comes crashing down, but the knight from earlier, Ganfall, rescues Luffy and Konis. Afterwards, the 3 of them prepare to go to Upper Yard. The 3 then make their way to the sacrificial altar. Unfortunately, they face many dangerous obstacles on their way there. They are then faced with a decision of what sort of trial they want to endure. Elsewhere, Zoro, Nami, and Nico leave the ship to Chopper as they explore the area. Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp choose the trial of balls, which drops them from a great height into a forest with gigantic snowballs. They are soon attacked by a snake, but Luffy easily kicks it away. Satori, one of the Skypiea priests, then makes his presence known. Satori knocks them all back easily, and states they're in the Forest of Illusions, and the chance of survival is only 10%. Luffy begins attacking Satori, but he isn't having any luck. Satori then lands a critical hit on Sanji. Now then, 2 to go. Meanwhile, on the Going Merry, Shura sneaks up on Chopper. Ganfall talks about a time that he was God, and how he almost achieved peace with the Shandora. Unfortunately, negotiations broke down when Enel took over as god. Meanwhile, Chopper begs Shura to stop his attack on the Going Merry, as flames spread everywhere. "You must give your life to God," says Shura to Chopper. Ganfall intervenes on Chopper's behalf, and begins to fight Shura. The fight then rages on with Ganfall and Shura. In the hidden village, the Shandora warriors plan to take out Ganfall and Enel. Nami then spots the area called Upper Yard and looks quite shocked by it. Meanwhile, Shura impales Ganfall with his spear, upsetting Chopper greatly. Chopper jumps into the White Sea to save Ganfall. Pierre, Ganfall's bird, is then knocked into the sea by Shura. Meanwhile, Luffy, Sanji, and Usopp continue their struggle against Satori. Luffy turns the tables by using the dragon to cause a massive explosion on Satori. Luffy then uses his arms and legs to hold Satori down. With this opportunity, Sanji delivers a powerful kick on Satori's head. Isa states that the voices of Ganfall and one of the priests went silent. Luffy and his crew hop onto the boat as they travel away from the defeated Satori. Elsewhere, the Shandora begin their invasion of Upper Yard and God. Chopper and Ganfall are still alive, although just barely. Nami, Zoro, and Nico arrive at the house, realizing that it was originally part of Jaya. "Jaya had always been floating in the sky," says Nami. Nami's excited to finally reach the Golden City. Luffy's crew then encounters the Shandora warriors. Luffy then uses Gumu Gumu Balloon to deflect a cannonball away. The Shandora then start fighting the priest. The Straw Hats then meet up with each other at the Going Merry. Unfortunately, their mast is missing. They set up camp and discuss what happened to all of them. After the discussion, Luffy decides it's time to find the gold. The Shandora clan is forced to halt their progress, since Kamikuri is hurt. Nami then places the maps of Jaya and Sky Island next to each other, revealing that they used to be the same landmass. The part of the island that Norland discovered was knocked into the sky by knock upstream. The crew then enjoys the nightlife, as Ganfall refers to the soil as Verth. Elsewhere, the Shandora talk about defeating Enel and returning what was lost to them 400 years ago. Usopp wakes up in the middle of the night to see someone repairing their ship. The Skypiea priests meet with Enel, who proves to be quite strong. The Straw Hats wake up to find the Going Merry fully repaired. The Straw Hats then split up into two groups, with Luffy's group heading towards the gold, and Nami's group navigating the ship through the island. Luffy's group then encounters a giant python. On the Going Merry, Ganfall shares the history of Skypiea with the Straw Hats, stating that it was a peaceful place prior to the arrival of Upper Yard. The Shandora come from the Upper Yard and were forced out of their land. 6 years ago, Enel appeared out of nowhere, leading a powerful army to defeat the Shandians. After getting attacked by the python, Luffy, Sanji, Chopper, and Nico get separated from one another. In a flashback, Wiper recalls a conversation he had with Ganfall about their lost land. In the now, Wiper says, "I'm gonna cut off Enel's head." Elsewhere, Enel states that after all the fighting, only 5 fighters will be left standing. Wiper confronts Shura and defeats him with Reject Dial. Upper Yard survival game. 1 out, 80 fighters remaining. Ganfall explains how the impact dials absorb and store energy from impacts and release it later. Enel doesn't seem concerned that Shura was defeated. The axe dials are introduced and cannot be found anywhere else on Skypiea. Luffy is then ambushed from one of God's army enforcers, but he easily bashes him in the face. Luffy then meets up with Wiper again, as both seem displeased to see each other. We're then given a map of where the various Straw Hat members are situated. Chopper ends up in the middle of a skirmish between God's army and the Shandora forces. Nico takes out a member of God's army for not respecting the ruins. Luffy and Wiper look to square off with each other. Elsewhere, Zoro and Braham begin their battle, acknowledging each other's strength. The battle intensifies between the two. Nevertheless, Zoro manages to use his pound cannon to take out Braham. After defeating the Shandian warriors, Gedatsu takes a look at Chopper, wondering if he's a raccoon. On the Going Merry, Sanji is burnt to a crisp as Enel shows up in front of the Straw Hats. Enel burns Usopp's body to a crisp, just like he did to Sanji. Enel and the priest came to Skypiea to attain the gold from the remains of Shandora. Enel then takes his leave as 2 unknown assailants board the Going Merry. Wiper attacks Luffy with his high-powered bazooka. Luffy tries his best to put up resistance, but Wiper proves to be a worthy foe that has just as much heart as the Straw Hat captain. Luffy then falls into an unknown location. Elsewhere, Yama, command of the divine soldiers under Enel, defeats Genbo. Nico discovers some ancient text, but is approached by Yama from behind. Hotori and Kotori look to battle Nami and Ganfall to avenge their brother, Satori. Gedatsu then approaches Chopper from behind. Gedatsu fires his Swamp Cloud burger at one of his comrades. Chopper then saves the man's life by performing emergency CPR. Gedatsu and Chopper then engage each other. Though Chopper takes some heavy damage, he then transforms into Arm Point to land a powerful blow and defeat his opponent. That's it! I'm a real pirate now! Kamakiri then confronts God Enel. Elsewhere, Ganfall defeats Kotori with his lance. Hotori attacks Nami with his flame dial. Nami turns the tables on him, however, by using fog to disorient him and impact dial to finish him off. Elsewhere, Nico sustains severe damage from Yama. Ganfall and Pierre depart from the Going Merry to find God Enel. Just then, Pagaya, Konis, and Isa meet up with Nami on the Going Merry. Elsewhere, Nico struggles to survive against Yama's attacks. Despite Kamakira's best efforts, Enel manages to defeat him rather easily. With 2 hours past, 56 contestants have fallen. 13 members of God's militia remain, 7 Shandonians remain, and 5 Straw Hats remain. Pagaya lets Nami ride his restored waver. Elsewhere, Enel sneaks up on a Shandonian warrior and takes him out with relative ease. Now, there's only 24 remaining. Nico smashes Yama into a tree, but grimaces from supporting his massive weight. She then tosses him off of a cliff, and reprimands him for destroying the priceless ruins. Nico proceeds to explore the ruins of Shandora. Chopper runs into Om, one of the 4 priests of God Enel. Kamkiri tells Rocky that God Enel is invincible. Om attacks Chopper through a wall, defeating him with relative ease. Nami stops Isa from running off into the upper yard. Just then, the giant python appears by the Going Merry. Luffy, who is stuck inside the python, starts attacking as he looks for the exit. As Zoro is carried by the Southbird, the giant python nearly bites down on him. Zoro then arrives in the upper ruins as he, Om, Wiper, and Ganfall look to square off. Wiper begins the battle by firing his bazooka. Holy, the dog that Om is riding, takes a swing at Zoro. Ganfall proceeds to attack Ohm from behind. Meanwhile, Nico makes progress through the Shandian ruins. Zoro gets cut by Iron Cloud as he finds Chopper in a weakened state. Nami and Isa are chased by God's army as they wonder where they are going. Nico is then taken aback by reaching the golden city of Shandora. Konis takes care of Usopp and Sanji inside the Going Merry. Wiper attacks Ganfall with his bazooka blast. Nami arrives on her waiver as Zoro, Wiper, and Ganfall work together to defeat the enforcers. The giant python then swallows Ganfall, Nami, and Isa in one bite. Ohm and Holy use this opportunity to knock down both Zoro and Wiper. Holy sets off the spike cage trap around everyone on the upper ruins. Rocky arrives outside the cage, telling Wiper that Enel is in the forest and Kamakiri is seriously injured. Enel arrives out of nowhere to strike her with lightning. Enel proceeds to mock Wiper and disappears from the area. The forces inside the trap proceed to fight once more. Luffy then runs into Nami, wondering what she's doing inside this quote-unquote magic cave. Nami clarifies that they're inside the snake's stomach. Wiper tries to get Isa out of the snake's stomach as the python becomes enraged. The battle between Zoro and Ohm intensifies. Zoro unleashes his 108-pound cannon to cut through Ohm's Iron Cloud and cut him down for good. Nico is then shocked to find the poneglyphs here. The Golden City Shandora was destroyed after fighting to protect the poneglyphs. God then sneaks up on Nico, stating that he took the gold. After the game is over, Enel plans on looking for the Golden Bell. One of Enel's soldiers tells Pagaya and Konis that Enel plans on wiping out all the citizens of the sky. Enel strikes him with lightning as Pagaya pushes his daughter out of the way. He then obliterates the upper ruins with a powerful lightning strike. "Let's orchestrate the final act together," yells Enel. Nami and everyone else inside the snake uses this opportunity to escape. However, Luffy and Isa still remain inside. The snake begins to cry as Enel strikes it with lightning. With 6 survivors, there's still one person that needs to be taken out of the game. Nico, Zoro, Wiper, and Ganfall all decide together that it will be Enel who goes down. A flashback shows Ganfall struggling over how to handle the situation with the Shandians. In the now, Ganfall angrily tells Enel that this world does not need a god. He lunges forward, but Enel easily dodges. 30 million volts, says Enel. With 5 survivors left, everyone will travel with Enel to the fairy Verth. Nico tells him that if he destroys his country, the thing he wants will also fall. Annoyed by her defiance, he proceeds to strike her down. Zoro catches Nico, reminding Enel that she's a woman. Zoro and Wiper proceed to attack Enel with no effect. Enel proceeds to shock Zoro down to the ground. Wiper jumps onto Enel and uses Rejectile, which could potentially kill him in the process. In a flashback, Wiper, Genbo, Kamakiri, and Braham learn about how the Upper Yard is their homeland, and how the proud flame of Shandora shall never be put out. In the now, Wiper stands over an unconscious Enel, giving everyone hope. Unfortunately, Enel restarts his own heart with a strike of lightning. Wiper's will is unbroken, but his body is in shambles. Enel unleashes Thunderbird on Wiper and Thunder Beast on Zoro. Nevertheless, Wiper stands up for his ancestors' sake, despite his body being burnt to a crisp. "God's judgment," yells Enel. With everyone defeated, Nami decides to go with Enel to spare her own life. Konis arrives on Angel Island, where she's immediately pursued by the White Berets. Enel then takes Nami to his massive ship, the Ark Maxim. Meanwhile, Luffy, Isa, and Pierre finally escape from the giant python. Luffy's excitement quickly subsides, however, when he finds his fallen comrades. Nico warns Luffy that Enel will destroy all of Skypiea. Isa hears the 2 voices of Nami and Enel as Luffy tells her to take him to their location. Nami thinks about how Enel is too dangerous and thinks about a way in which she can escape. Konis attempts to warn everyone about God Enel and his plans to destroy the country, but it falls on deaf ears. Luffy then makes his way to Enel and says, "What did you do to my friends?" Konis finally manages to convince everyone to begin the evacuation. Luffy tells Enel that he doesn't look like a god. Enel then uses God's judgment on him. Yet, Luffy remains unaffected by the blast. Enel attempts several more attacks, but Luffy withstands them all and punches Enel straight in the gut. With Luffy being a rubber man, lightning has no effect on him, making him immune to Enel's attacks. Nevertheless, Enel uses his mantra to predict Luffy's attacks and catches him with his staff. Enel transforms his staff into a trident and ends up damaging Luffy with it. He then uses his power to make his massive ship float in the air. Luffy tells Enel that he'll become the Pirate King, who is the king of the sea. Enel states that doesn't sound half bad. He activates Death Paella, which produces clouds that emit thunders 10 times stronger than his attacks. One of the thunderbolts then strikes near Angel Island. Enel continues his attacks, as Luffy wonders how he'll get around his predictive abilities. Luffy starts punching and kicking the throne as they're repelled backwards into Enel. The false god is then unable to dodge Luffy's Gumu Gumu bazooka and rifle. Undeterred, Enel stands up and states that he is the almighty god. Enel traps Luffy's hand with the golden ball and manages to toss him off of the ship. Isa tries to save him with Pierre, but Enel uses God's judgment to make sure that this doesn't happen. Konis then notices that Usopp and Sanji are missing from the Going Merry, as they are seen climbing up the Arc Maxim. Sanji tells Usopp not to wimp out, as he thinks about saving Nami. Enel states that it was unwise for Nami to give up on the lifeline that she had been holding on to. He then attacks her as she manages to dodge. Robin is then seen moving Zoro with her devil fruit powers. The various citizens of Skypiea are then seen evacuating. Luffy lifts up the gigantic golden ball as he prepares to head off Enel at the Golden Bell. Usopp attacks Enel from behind, but it's ineffective. After getting attacked by Enel, Usopp begs for Nami to save him. He eventually gathers up some courage to take on Enel, but is taken down rather easily. Sanji then creates a distraction for Nami and Usopp to escape the ship. Enel then realizes that Sanji sabotaged his ship. Usopp returns for Sanji as they successfully make their escape. Despite his ship being damaged, Enel remarks that the destruction of Skypiea is inevitable. Luffy makes his ascent towards the Golden Bell as the rest of the Straw Hats reunite. The party has officially started. Thunderstorm, says Enel. The lightning continues destroying the land as the citizens attempt to escape. Wiper then recalls a story of how his ancestor Kalgara had a true friend, and he was none other than Noland. A flashback shows how ruthless the great warrior Kalgara really was. During this time, Noland was a great admiral who killed a sea king to feed his starving crew. Noland is drawn to the island of Jaya by a ringing bell. As soon as he enters the island, he finds out that the inhabitants are suffering from a tree fever epidemic. The people look to sacrifice a beautiful maiden to save the rest of the village. Lord Kashi, a great python, then emerges. Noland intervenes by slicing off the snake's head. Kalgara then stares down Noland with extreme rage. As retribution for killing their god, Kalgara thrusts his spear at Noland. The girl attempts to commit suicide, but Noland prevents her from doing so. With this opportunity, Kalgara impales Noland through the chest. Noland proceeds to castigate the natives for their vile ritual. Noland is then given until tomorrow evening to find a cure. Until then, however, his crew is detained. An earthquake ravages the village, as Kalgara takes pleasure in seeing Noland stuck between a crevice. The natives look ready to execute Noland's men, even though he hasn't run out of time yet. Meanwhile, Noland's body is getting crushed by the land. He then tells Kalgara that what his people were attempting to do with the sacrifice was beneath humans. Kalgara informs Noland that the girl they were attempting to sacrifice was actually his own daughter. Lord Kashi's child confronts them, but Kalgara takes him down. "Can you really save my dear village? Can the village really be saved?" cries Kalgara. "Yes," responds Noland. Afterwards, Noland saves the village as everyone celebrates the apparent miracle. Kalgara takes Noland to the golden city of Shandora. Noland, obviously, is at a loss for words for what he's seeing. Kalgara clarifies that it's not the gold they've guarded, but the stone passed down through their ancestors. Kalgara says that their bell is called the Light of Shandora. The two men continue to bond throughout their stay. A month later, however, the natives express their distrust for Noland and his group. Kalgara then states that he never wants to see Noland's face ever again. Noland tells him that his men will depart in 3 days. However, Noland doesn't want to leave on such disappointing terms, but Kalgara makes his intentions quite clear. Kalgara then sits amongst a multitude of tree stumps, blaming Noland for cutting them down. Noland then discovers that Kalgara's people believe that their ancestors reside within the trees. Kalgara's daughter explains that it was the trees that were making them sick, and to stop the contamination, Noland's crew had to cut them down. Realizing the errors of their ways, the Shandians ring the bell as Kalgara screams that he will wait for Noland's return. Noland regales the king of Livneal about his tales of the Golden City. 5 years later, Noland returns to Jaya with the king. Unfortunately, the city of gold he once saw no longer exists. Due to his quote-unquote great lies, Noland was given a public execution and called a liar. 1 year before Noland's visit, however, Knock Upstream jettisoned Shandora into Skypiea. The current god, Nola, wanted to make this land his kingdom and instructed his men to drag out the inhabitants. A war henceforth broke out between the Sky People and the Shandians. The Golden Bell was never rung again after that. Kalgara died on the battlefield as a young Wiper wonders if the bell would still reach Noland if they rung it. Enel, what gives you the right to steal everything, says Wiper. Enel says that the Shandians will return to the Blue Sea from whence they came. The destruction continues as McKinley of the White Berets wonders about Konos' safety. A hole is punctured through the white seas as people begin to fall through it. There is only one thing left I want in this country, and that is the giant golden bell. I won't let you have that golden bell no matter what, Enel, yells Luffy. Enel reaches the top of the giant beanstalk, but doesn't see the golden bell. Enel strikes down the top of the beanstalk, sending Luffy plunging down. The Straw Hat Captain does manage to hang onto the beanstalk with his left hand, but is now in a precarious position. Luffy thinks of how he'll get up to Enel's ship, but is then run over by Nami's waver. A massive, spherical, dark cloud appears above the Angel Island, terrifying all the inhabitants. In a blinding flash, the entire island is decimated in an instant. The island they were born on was now gone without a trace. Even the sea clouds are completely gone. Nami wants Luffy to escape with her, but the Straw Hat Captain has unfinished business with Enel. The City of Gold. It was up here all along. So I'm gonna stay up here and ring the golden bell. Luffy attempts to board the Arc Maxim, but Enel does not allow this to happen. I will return everything to its rightful place. This is my duty as God. Luffy desperately wants to ring the bell for Cricket's sake. The citizens realize that they won't be able to reach Cloud End with all the destruction that is going on. Just then, Enel finally arrives at the Golden Bell's location and states he will ascend to Fairy Verse as God. Luffy and Nami write a message on a leaf to cut down the beanstalk westward. Enel produces yet another dark sphere, with this one being several times larger than the last one. Nami says she'll take Luffy to the bell, but wants him to keep her safe. The Straw Hats and Wiper both agree to work together in cutting down the giant stalk. Zoro manages to cut half of the beanstalk, yet it doesn't fall down. Enel proceeds to shock him for this transgression. Nola, the snake, has the memory of ringing the bell with Kalgara. In the now, Nola smashes her head against the beanstalk, but it still wasn't enough to knock it down. Wiper uses his rejectile on the stalk, which proves to be the final push it needed to be knocked down. Usopp cheers Luffy on as a thunderstorm impedes the path of the Straw Hats. Despite all the destruction, Wiper states that Shandora will never crumble under the wickedness of Enel. Give back the golden bell, screams Luffy. Enel uses Advent of Thunder to try to finish him off. Through Luffy's grit and determination, he manages to disperse the thundercloud, much to the surprise of Enel. Wiper begs for Luffy to relight the light of Shandora, as Ganfall wants to hear the song of the island. Now on the same level as Enel, Luffy looks happy to knock him down, and uses 200 million volts to fend him off, as he gashes Luffy in the side with his trident. Undeterred, Luffy twists the arm with the golden ball. He then unwinds it and fires Gold Pistol at Enel, hitting his target square on. The bell rings as Luffy screams, "The Golden City has always been here in the sky." The Straw Hats and Ganfall all marvel at the sound of the bell. The people of Skypiea also marvel at the beautiful sound. On Jaya Island, Cricket remarks that the sound of the bell is proof that the Golden City must truly exist. A giant shadow of Luffy is seen celebrating above the island, as the Saruyama Alliance smiles on. God Enel then sinks into the clouds along with his airship. Blessings and hopes is spread to the corners of the world. Luffy and Nami return to the Straw Hats as Pagaya returns to his crying daughter. Enel proceeds to ride Maxim to the land that glows in the darkened sky, i.e. the moon. The people of the sky and the Shandians do not desire any further war, as they celebrate the end of the 400 years war between them. "Party!" yells Luffy with excitement. Luffy then tells the Straw Hats that they should steal all the gold and run away. The next day, Luffy, Sanji, Nami, and Chopper start grabbing various treasures for themselves. The Shandians discover a poneglyph within the bell, so Robin walks up and starts investigating it. The ancient weapon with the power so strong that it was named after the god Poseidon. Robin then reads another text. "We came here, found the text, and followed its guidance. Signed, Gold D. Roger." Robin determines that by connecting the poneglyphs, they'll be able to fill in the blank history for the first time. This means that she must make it to Raftel to decode the entire message. Luffy arrives with a sack full of golden treasure. The Straw Hats proceed to run away, as the Shandians were just about to give them more gold as a thank you gift. While Wiper recovers from his wounds, he promises Kalgara that the light of Shandora will never die again. The Shandian chief asks for Ganfall to be the god of Skypiea once again, as he reluctantly accepts. The Straw Hats start feeling a little nostalgic as they get ready to leave. Nonetheless, they're excited to finally go back to the Blue Seas. They then take an octopus balloon back down to the Blue Seas. As a final thank you, the inhabitants ring the bell once more. Every time I look at the sky, I think of that fairyland hiding in the clouds. 10,000 meters above the ground, the beautiful song of the bell resonates endlessly. It rings today. It will ring for days to come. That golden bell of that lost land will forever sing of the pride of its people. And with that, guys, that officially ends the Sky Island saga. Next time, we begin the Water 7 saga. See you on the flip side.